Hey everyone, today on People Now.
So how do you expect a mother who loves her son with all of her heart to take that?
Peter's mom, Barb, is center stage as things take a wild turn on the Bachelor finale.
Charlie Sheen speaks out after serious sexual assault allegations are leveled against him in Corey Feldman's new documentary.
HGTV's Good Bones star Mina Starsiak and her husband share miracle baby news exclusively to People. We have all the details.
Jenna Dewan celebrates the birth of her new baby with a sweet photo.
Plus,
I will go the distance.
Matthew Morrison is in our studio telling us all about his new Disney cover album.
It's all live today on People Now. Let's go.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to People Now. Matthew Morrison is here.
Very exciting.
Excited for that coming up a little later.
I loved Glee, so I want to ask him some throwback questions.
And my life is surrounded by Disney music all the time, so this is exactly for me and my family, this new album. We'll be talking about that and so much more today, but we begin with this news. Disgraced Hollywood movie producer Harvey Weinstein has been sentenced to 23 years in a New York State prison. The former film mogul was convicted in February on charges of first-degree criminal sexual act and third-degree rape. He faced at least 5 years and as much as 29 behind bars. According to CNN reports, prosecutors had asked for the maximum sentence, arguing in a court filing that he led a lifetime of abuse towards others, sexual and otherwise. Weinstein's attorneys argued for the minimum, citing his advanced age, medical problems, lack of criminal history, and charitable contributions. Weinstein faces additional charges in Los Angeles. He's accused of raping one woman and sexually assaulting another in separate incidents over a 2-day period in 2013. He's not yet entered a plea to those allegations, which carry a separate penalty of 28 years in state prison if convicted. We'll keep you posted. All right, now we move on to this. We are still not over. Part 2 of the Bachelor finale. Let's dive right into this, Andrea. It was a dramatic night.
Yeah, so who got Peter's final rose? Well, it's complicated. So in an exclusive interview with People, Peter opens up about breaking off his short-term engagement to Hannah Ann, revealing he just was not over Madison. I mean, this was really dramatic.
Heartbreaking. He was torn. He tells us that although he had an amazing person standing in front of him at that final rose ceremony with Hannah Ann, he was still hurting over Madison. Even still, Peter proposed to Hannah Ann, but admits that he was conflicted. He tells us that he truly loved Hannah Ann and wouldn't have proposed if he didn't. Adding in part, I don't know what's going to happen, but I had to follow my heart.
Well, Hannah Ann let her feelings be known to Peter, both on the show and after the final rose. She later posted on her Instagram with the caption, "Flying solo, no turbulence accepted, period." Little shade there. Also kind of funny that she had a whole photo shoot for that picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Madison later joined Peter for a live sit-down with Chris Harrison. They revealed that they're going to try being together. But which of Peter's family members is not supportive of him and Madison? If you watched it all, you know that would be his mom, Barbara Weber, known as Barb. Chris Harrison asked Barb, who was sitting beside Peter Sr., what her opinions were of Maddie and Peter. She did not hold back, saying that she believes it's not going to work, and ultimately revealing that her family didn't click with Madison. Chris then asked Peter Sr. for his take. At that, Barbara was recorded saying something to her husband in Spanish. Turns out that translates to, "Say something bad too. Help me."
Wow.
Apparently that's what she said to him in that moment. And as we were watching live, you could see her say it. We weren't sure what it was.
This is the weirdest finale I've ever seen. It's
so bizarre.
Yeah.
It was, right?
I know. We're breaking down part 2 of the Bachelor finale a little later in the show. We've got Bachelor alum Kayla Quinn and PeopleTV's reality check host Darren Karp weighing in. Stay tuned for that. But first, we want to know what you think was the most shocking part of last night's episode. Was it Hannah Ann dumping Peter? Was it Barb's reactions to everything?
Literally everything.
Madison surprising Peter, or the Barb-Madison showdown?
I think it was a showdown. I don't want to sway the votes. You can vote in our People poll. Tweet us your thoughts using the hashtag PeopleNow. We're going to check in on that later on in the show. But for now, we switch gears to this. Charlie Sheen is denying Corey Feldman's accusation that he sexually assaulted Corey Haim when Sheen was 19 and Haim was 13. Sheen's publicist tells People in a statement, quote, "These sick, twisted, and outlandish allegations never occurred, period." The statement then adds, quote, "I would urge everyone to consider the source and read what his mother, Judy Haim, has to say." So follow along here. It was in Feldman's new documentary, My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, which premiered in LA on Monday, that Feldman alleged Haim told him that Charlie Sheen raped him on the set of the 1986 film Lucas. In the doc, Feldman reflects on that conversation with Haim, saying, quote, "This wasn't like a one-time thing that he said in passing. It wasn't like, oh, by the way, this happened." He went into great detail. According to Entertainment Weekly, there were also several other people from the documentary who claimed that Haim had told them of the alleged abuse as well, one of those people being Feldman's ex-wife, Susanna. In a 2017 National Enquirer report, actor Dominic Brascia made a similar accusation about Sheen, which Sheen denied. According to Rolling Stone, a 2017 clip from The Dr. Oz Show was featured in the Feldman documentary. In the clip, Haim's mother alleges that it wasn't Sheen who sexually abused her son, but Brascia. Feldman also accuses Brascia of abusing Haim in the documentary, and in the past, Brascia denied that allegation, telling Perez Hilton in 2016, quote, "It's totally not true." A lot to that to unpack. We'll keep you posted as we find out more. This week's People cover story is taking an inside look into the royal farewell of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. After an emotional final round of official engagements, a source tells People in this week's issue that it's bittersweet, saying it's been really sad for them because they tried. As far as next steps for Harry and Meghan, while they've been spending time with their son Archie in Canada, they have their sights set on California next. They are expected to spend time in Meghan's hometown of Los Angeles this summer. That source says that this is what Meghan and Harry have always wanted, to create their own life. It's got to feel like an immense relief to get out of the UK and go down their own path. That was a quote from the source. In addition to their farewell lap, reports emerged on Wednesday that Prince Harry has been a victim of prank callers from Russia. According to multiple outlets and audio uploaded to YouTube, Harry thought that he was talking privately to environmental champion Greta Thunberg and her father on 2 occasions, but he's actually being duped by 2 hoaxers. In transcripts in the British media, Harry opened up about his and Meghan's decision to leave the royal family. He says, quote, "Sometimes the right decision isn't always the easy one, but it was the right decision for our family. I think there's a hell of a lot of people around the world that can identify and respect us for putting our family first. It's a tricky one, but we will start a new life." That was his quote. Also during the conversation, he said that President Trump has blood on his hands over his support for the coal industry. And he distanced himself from the rest of his famous family, especially Andrew, who's been wrought in scandal over his friendship with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Harry reportedly said in the calls, quote, "But whatever he has done or hasn't done is completely separate from me and my wife. We operate in a way of inclusivity, and we are focusing on community. And so we're completely separate from the majority of my family." Harry's spokespeople at Buckingham Palace had no comment when reached by People. All right, moving on to this. HGTV's Good Bones star Mina Starsiak and her husband Stephen Hawke have some amazing news exclusive to People. Watch.
So super exciting update. We're pregnant.
That is so amazing. We are very happy for them. Baby number 2 is due in mid-September. And in this week's People, Starsiak tells us, quote, "It's super exciting, and she and her husband feel incredibly lucky." She reveals that she had less than a 1% chance of getting pregnant with her second baby. The HGTV star has been open recently about her struggles with getting pregnant again, and opened up to People about her IVF roller coaster, as she puts it. Starsiak reveals that she works out, she's healthy, she eats pretty well, so it feels like, she says, your body's failing you and letting you down when you don't get pregnant. And now that she is pregnant again, she says giving her son Jack a sibling is a dream that she and her husband didn't know would come true. She says it doesn't feel real yet. She adds that when they heard the heartbeat, though, there were so many tears. We, of course, will have more on Mina's pregnancy journey later on in the show. We're happy for them. Andrea, you have more for us on Star Trek.
Yes, I do. We are kicking off Star Trek today with a happy mama. Jenna Dewan is giving us glimpses of her sweet newborn son, Callum Michael Rebel. On Tuesday, Jenna shared a sweet selfie on Instagram of herself breastfeeding Callum, captioned, "So happy." The new mom also shared a photo of her son's tiny feet. Look at how little they are. He's already very stylish, wearing what appears to be a beaded protection anklet there. I love babies' feet. They're so cute. Jenna and her fiance, Steve Kazee, welcomed baby Callum on Friday, March 6th. He's their first child together. Jenna is already a mom to 6-year-old daughter Everly, whom she shares with her ex-husband, Channing Tatum. Jenna posted the news of the baby's arrival with a black and white snapshot of herself holding her newborn for the very first time. She captioned the sweet post, "And just like that, our hearts exploded into all of eternity and beyond. Welcome to the world, you little angel." Steve shared the meaning behind Callum's full name on his Instagram stories Tuesday evening, revealing that he got his first name Callum because it is Gaelic for dove. He says it's because he has been so sweet and peaceful since landing in their arms. Now, Callum was given the middle name Michael because it is Steve's middle name, and he was named Rebel as a way to honor Steve's mother, Reba, who was called Rebel by her father. Very sweet. All right, more baby news. Cheetah Girl Sabrina Bryan is about to welcome another little cheetah girl. Sabrina and her husband, Jordan Lundberg, revealed the news exclusively to People. And in this week's issue, Lundberg says they are, quote, already so in love with our little baby girl Blessing. The couple had a sex reveal party at a friend's home, and for the big moment, the dad-to-be popped a gold balloon that reads, "How I wonder what you are," in navy blue text. Lundberg told People that the moment the pink confetti filled the air was an indescribable thrill. And he adds, "I cannot wait for all of the bows, tutus, and dance shoes." Sabrina's rep confirmed her pregnancy to People on Friday, with the star saying she and her husband had been really excited to begin this journey. And she adds that the couple knows that becoming parents is a gift and that they are blessed. Sabrina also admitted that it was hard keeping the baby news a secret, and sharing it with family has been exhilarating. The couple wed in October of 2018 at Wayne Newton's home in Las Vegas. All right, according to a source from the set of Ben Affleck's upcoming film, Deep Water, he and his new flame, Knives Out star Ana de Armas, had great chemistry right from the start. Ben and Ana met on the set of the psychological thriller, which they filmed in New Orleans over the winter. Now, the source adds that the two had an instant connection, saying Ben always seemed very relaxed and happy around Ana, but at the time of filming, there were no signs of romance, and they kept things professional while working together. The two play a married couple in the film. The source says Ana has this very calm and sweet personality. Another source says she always greets people with a smile. You never hear a complaint. She is very pleasant to be around. Now, Ana, who divorced Spanish actor Mark Quatlet in 2013 after 2 years of marriage, got her first starring Hollywood role opposite Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner 2049. She then garnered a Golden Globe nomination for her leading role in Knives Out and is now co-starring in the upcoming James Bond movie No Time to Die. So a lot of things happening for her. On March 4th, the new couple flew to Ana's hometown of Havana. They visited several restaurants and shops and happily took photos with fans who approached them. A source says Ana was Ben's tour guide and took him to all of her favorite places. The source adds Ben was in a great mood and very friendly, and the source says they are definitely dating. And those are your Star Treks for today.
All right, stay with us. We're joined live by Matthew Morrison, who just released a Disney-filled album. We're excited for that. Plus, we're recapping last night's dramatic finale of The Bachelor and After the Final Rose. Stick around. In this week's issue of People, HGTV star Mina Starsiak reveals that she is pregnant with baby number 2, despite having less than a 1% chance of getting pregnant a second time.
Mina has been very open about her fertility struggles, and she told us exclusively in December the moment she realized there might be a problem.
Based on our experience with Jack, that one, based on our experience with Jack, by like month 3 of trying, I was like, this is not going to schedule. This isn't how it happened the first time. Like, there's no reason it should be taking this long, and was, just starting to get a little confused and like frustrated. Honestly, what I thought was the biggest problem was it was during when I was doing the Brady Bunch renovation and working on Rock the Block, so I was traveling so much. I mean, there's only like 2 days a month or something that you can get pregnant. Realistically, probably even less than that. So the timing of it really had to be right, and so I thought maybe we just weren't getting the timing right.
Turns out timing was not the issue. She shared with us that after a few tests, her fertility expert told her that she had a low egg count and said that they shouldn't waste any more time, explaining they could be aggressive and go straight to IVF.
Mina told us in December how she reacted to that news.
I think because my personality type, and I am very much like a fixer and a planner, like, okay, just what can we do? It was like confusing and like, wait, we're doing this, there's this new thing added to the equation, like I don't have eggs, but I think pretty quickly pivoted to, okay, then now just what do we do next? It never in a million years crossed my mind that this wasn't like a problem that we could solve fairly easily, because in my mind, like, okay, IVF, injections, you mix some stuff in a dish, you put it back in, baby. And it's not that simple, and it is a much bigger deal.
The IVF treatment did not go according to plan. Mina and her husband told us recently about their Hail Mary effort.
After our first failed IVF, the prognosis was that we had less than 1% chance of getting pregnant without using donor eggs, which was just a really big mental adjustment even for us to process the information, because it had never crossed my mind that IVF wasn't going to work. I just hadn't even thought about it. So we set up a second opinion, not really expecting anything to be terribly different, but just that's what you do. You get a second opinion. And so we went to another doctor in Indy. He got all of our lab stuff from the first doctor and said, you know, based on your numbers, it's not great. Like, you don't have a great chance, but there's a couple other things we can try. And me being me, I'm very impatient. And it's, you know, is there anything we can do this month? So we're not wasting a month. And I was already on day 9 of my cycle, and you can get pregnant like day 13, 14. And he said it was way too late to do anything with medical assistance, but we could try a natural IUI, which is just a fancy word for the turkey baster method. And I didn't expect it to work.
It seemed very...
It was a long shot.
Yeah.
It was a Hail Mary. We were going to try it, and then we were just going to be done.
We were just checking the boxes, like making sure everything tried.
And it's so great that they did. The couple is pregnant with their second child. We are so happy for them. They also shared with us Steven's reaction to the news. Watch.
When I told him I was pregnant with Jack, he just started crying. When I told him I was pregnant this time, it was like shock.
There's when you're told you can't have another baby, like as far as me personally, I was thinking that it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So I was just shocked.
He was like, I think you said, like, really?
Yeah, I was like, well, you told me, how you told me this time was, hey, I was gonna book a flight to Turks and Caicos for a vacation.
I had a vacation on hold for 24 hours.
And you were like, but we can't go because I'm pregnant. And I was just shocked. I was just, I mean, obviously very happy, but shocked. I believe the doctors, and they was wrong.
Yeah. They got another 1%, baby.
To read more on their journey to baby number 2, pick up this week's issue of People on newsstands Friday.
I will go the distance.
It's a Disney classic. You can hear that and more on Matthew Morrison's new Disney cover album, Disney Dreamin' with Matthew Morrison, which is out now. And please welcome to People Now, we have Matthew Morrison himself. What's up? Looking great. I like the hat.
Oh, thank you. No, my wife did a little dressing. Oh, hey, look at this.
There you go. Your wife is on point. Congrats to her.
Thank you. Thank you. Congrats to me. I mean, I landed a good one.
Yeah, right? Let's talk about this. Disney approached you for the album, right?
They did, yeah.
And so why was this something that you wanted to jump at the chance to do?
You know, I was actually wanting, after having a son, who's 2.5 now, I was wanting to do like a children's album. I sing my son to sleep every night. We do lullabies, and then we have dance parties when we wake up. It's a very musical household, and I was kind of thinking, like, maybe I'll do some original songs. And then Disney, I guess, caught wind of that and said, why don't you do our great songs?
Which, by the way, could not be more perfect.
I know,
for a
I'm
kid,
like,
right?
this is so much easier than...
Yeah.
It's so adorable to Revel,
Yeah,
right?
Revel,
yeah,
yeah.
what are some of his favorite songs?
Well, it depends. Like I mentioned at our dance parties, he loves getting up. Friend Like Me, just Aladdin. He loves that song. And he has this one-handed fist bump he does. He goes like this, and he just dances, and he just has a great.
That's
song.
really funny. Yeah. And how much those songs connect to your childhood, right? Like I literally, as I'm walking my girls to school these days, I'll start singing a line from a song, and they're like, "Guess the princess," and I'm thinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's embedded in
is.
childhood. For you, what song do you get nostalgic about?
You know, I grew up in the time of records, and
Okay.
so
They
we
spin
would
on
put
a
the
plate.
vinyl on, and
Yeah.
it would be probably Zippity Doodah or Bare Necessities.
Oh, way back.
Yeah, way back. I was rolling a stone, you know.
Yeah, right.
But then you know, Disney had that kind of like resurgence. I guess the renaissance of like, you know, Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast, all those things like in the mid '90s, and that's what really caught my attention as a teenager.
Yeah.
Well, you lead a very musical life. You were talking about the dance parties you have with your son. So he does the fist bump. What's your go-to move?
Wow, that's a great question. You know what? Yeah, I think it probably started for me with the fist bump because it happened when he was a baby. You know, you're holding your child. So I think I was like going like this to him. So
Yeah.
you only got one-handed thing. I think that's how. Oh, there he is. Look at him.
Yeah. So
I think
cute.
we're right there. We were practicing our shaka.
Okay.
You're like-
By the way, those
Oh
eyes.
yeah,
on
I was
him,
just in Hawaii. Shaka.
He has those incredible eyes.
Hey, thanks to his mom.
Yeah. Right? Anyway,
Yeah.
all right. So you also just wrapped up The Greatest Dancer on BBC.
Yep.
Just back from London. What was your favorite part about doing that and being a judge?
Honestly, the mentorship part of it. I think it was an extension of being a father. You know, I got to actually really work with my acts. We each of the dance captains, we each got our 3 acts we had to mentor, and really just embedding myself into their lives and working on their craft. It's like passing the torch as a dancer myself, you know, to the next generation.
And you spent 2 months in London while filming this, which must have been a blast. Did you go to any shows on the West End?
I did, yeah. I saw a couple shows. I love just going to the parks there. The parks are amazing. I think London is such a kid-friendly town. They really are just, you know, arms wide open to families and stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of shows, though, what would it take to get you back on Broadway? Is that something you'd want to do?
You have an offer for me? No, for honestly, oh wow.
There we go.
Look at these old pics. Wow. I would love to be back on Broadway. That's my oxygen. I love live theater more than anything. These days, I get my fix doing concerts like all over the world. So it would take a really great show. I'm very selective these days about what I do for work because I really want to be home as much as possible. And the greatest role I've ever had is being a father, and it's absolutely has to be like the right thing.
Yeah, and that love of being a dad. You and your wife have talked about the struggle and some of the challenges of approaching or going after having a second child. Right? That's something that you've been open.
Yeah, you know, we had our son, and you know, we want another child, but we've had a couple miscarriages since then. So we're just trying to going with it. You know, it's something I feel like we want to talk about because it's something that so many women go through, and it's kind of, they just sweep it under the rug. But I think we need to talk about it because we need our community more than ever in those moments.
That's something that we've been through. So many couples that we know have been through. What's your advice for families, maybe couples that are going through that for the first time?
I think talking about it, being open about it, and I think really just opening that line of communication between the couple. You know, I think it's something that really can, if it sits and kind of festers and doesn't get talked about, I think it can lead to other things. Talking about it, maybe going to therapy. I don't know.
I also felt like I feel like there's this level of like. I know that there can be a level of shame, like, oh, I feel stupid for feeling so affected, or I feel shameful for not feeling more affected. Like I've kind of gone both ways. Like I feel like I should feel worse, and then my wife, oh, I feel like I shouldn't feel so bad. So there's something about that, just being honest with your feelings about what's happening.
You know, and I think if you have multiple miscarriages, you know, the first one was devastating to us and stuff, but the second one wasn't as bad because I think we had gone through it and know what that experience was, and also physically for my wife, it wasn't as traumatizing for her body. So, but then there is this fear for the next time we do get pregnant.
Right.
It's like, you want to be excited about the pregnancy and stuff, but at the same time you're holding back this fear of like, okay, let's just hold off and hopefully get past that point.
Yeah.
I think it's so great that you're open about it because it's helping a lot of people that are going through similar struggles.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. You have a special concert on Friday.
Yeah.
So what can people expect? Are you going to be singing Disney songs?
Absolutely. This is kind of, I guess, my album release party. It's going to be at Sony Hall this Friday night, and I'm so excited to actually share this music with the world. I mean, the world obviously knows this music already, but I spent so much care and time to really make it my own because it's hard with these songs, like especially like You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan. It's so synonymous with Phil Collins. Like, how do you make it fresh and original to you? So I feel like I really did that in this album, and that's something I really am so excited to share.
All right, well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Great
Congrats
to
on
talk to you,
everything.
man.
And everyone, be sure to check out Disney Dreamin' with Matthew Morrison. It's available now.
4 years after losing his wife, Joey Feek, to cancer, Rory Feek says he can't really imagine dating, but it's not because he's sad, it's because he's complete. In this week's issue of People, Rory, who rose to stardom alongside Joey as a Grammy-winning duo, says he doesn't feel like something's missing or like he needs someone to share his life with because Joey still fills his life with joy. Watch.
I still feel like I'm 100% married in a full regular marriage. The only difference is that she's just not around. But it's a funny thing to feel so complete and not have her here with us. And I think it's just that she was such an amazing gift, and she filled my life so much that she continues to feel it. She continues to feel it even when she's not here.
Though Rory can't really imagine dating again, he admits he's open to anything God wants to have happen. But he adds, do I see it on the horizon? No, but I want what he wants. Now, Rory has made countless adjustments since he lost his wife to cancer in 2016. He's now a single father to their 6-year-old Indiana. And right now, he's taking life day by day while following the blueprint that Joey left behind.
He tells us, I like to think that Joey is proud of how I'm doing, how we're all doing, especially Indiana. And as for how he keeps Joey's memory alive for his daughter, he says it's by keeping her everywhere.
Joey's memory stays alive probably because of she's everywhere. Like, she's in everything, like the dishes, you know, the silverware, the everything that we have at the house is all part of Joey. Like, nothing's really changed too much. And also her music is everywhere. I mean, we were somewhere just the other day. I was in a restaurant with Indiana. I don't remember where we were, but I could not hear it. And like literally, like we're all having lunch, and Indiana literally goes, "It's Mama," and she starts singing the song, and I thought, no, I couldn't really hear it. Like, all of us got really quiet. And it took a lot of work for me to realize that's Joey.
Rory shares his family's ups and downs on his new docuseries, This Life I Live. It's inspired by his blog, and it airs Sundays on RFD-TV. Now, one of the changes explored in the show is his return to the music studio, where he previews a new ballad about overcoming heartbreak.
Speaking about his family, he tells people, we've settled into a really wonderful life. For more on Rory's life now, be sure to pick up an issue of People on Newsstands Friday.
I never, ever envisioned this.
It's the shocking conclusion of The Bachelor.
I just need the truth at this point.
I hope we see the happy ending that he so deserves.
So you regret what you did?
Yeah.
Are you in love with Peter?
I do believe things happen for a reason. I believe that when you find true love, it will always rise above all.
There's something I just found out.
What?
Jeremy, this was ridiculous.
My heart
Here
hurts.
to break
My heart's
down
confused.
night 2 of the Bachelor finale is hosted PeopleTV's reality check, Darren Karp, and Bachelor alum Kayla Quinn. Ladies, you look amazing. I like the eyeshadow.
I'm bringing it out for you. I'm trying to match your dress. I'm trying to compliment Kayla. I'm just trying to look like some semblance of a woman. Some semblance of Barb at any given point.
My gosh.
Yes. Barb. There's so much to talk about. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay. So Chris Harrison drops this bombshell that Hannah Ann might not show up to the final rose ceremony, and she's at her breaking point. I mean, Peter gets really upset. Is he upset about the idea of not having Hannah Ann to propose to, or just not having anyone? What do you think?
I think he's upset about like not having anyone
propose.
at all. Exactly. I feel like he just wants to feel loved, and he's been rejected by many a woman at this point. So
I think he was so excited to feel like he finished his chapter and did everything appropriately, which is why I think he proposed to Hannah Ann in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, I think he just really wanted to get down on one
I think
knee
that's
and
a
make
cruel,
that statement.
cruel trick by producers to be like, she might not be
But
coming.
she did. But why do you think she eventually did come?
I think she wanted to come because she wanted an answer. Like, is she the one? You know?
Wait, was she ever really not coming at all? Or was it just like, she's running late and Chris is like, she might not be here? Like,
there's no chance that anyone, and maybe Kayla, you can speak better to this, there's no chance that she was just like gonna be like, you know what, he second guessed it, I'm just gonna throw in the towel. Like, of course you're gonna go show up, of course you wanna see how it happens.
Yeah.
I think she was afraid of being rejected, and that's why she was taking a moment.
At that point, though, the most she knew was that, like, he, like any other Bachelor in history, was like, oh, I'm torn because it's down to the final 2, and this is the show, and it's always like that at this point. I don't know. I just felt like that was an unnecessary, like, oh no, what's gonna, I don't know.
We didn't get a lot of story arc.
No, we did not.
We did not get a lot of
But let's move on. So he proposes to Hannah Ann.
Yes.
I guess, Darren, let me ask you this. What are your feelings about the fact that he, you know, maybe felt like she wasn't the number one choice? Should he have proposed at that moment?
No, he should not have proposed. First off, and Kayla and I were talking about this before, he mentions Madison in the proposal. I don't know any woman in my life that would want another woman being mentioned in a proposal.
Well, but it was his way of quickly overshadowing, like, oh, I addressed it, like, kind of address the Madison thing,
well, he's
and
like,
then move on.
I love you. Madison left 2 days ago. There we go. I'm gonna propose to her. Like, what? Like, this.
But also, I feel like he wanted to make his mother happy. Like, you see her just like watching this proposal, like on the edge of her couch, and at the same time with that validation, he probably was like, you know what? moms are usually right, so this is probably the best move.
Yeah.
So then, I was gonna say, a month later, Hannah Ann and Peter meet back together. I guess they hadn't seen each other for like a month. I don't know what exactly they were doing.
They said 3 months or something like that. I was like, really?
That was totally staged.
But that's when, so he reveals he's struggling, still has feelings for Madison. Peter broke it off with Hannah Ann. She's rightfully angry, and you saw Hannah Ann come alive. I was so proud of her in this
It was the only time we saw her personality the entire season. We never saw her be fiery. I have no idea what she's about.
I think that's an edit thing, not her.
I think it is.
I'm sure she had moments that we didn't see.
Absolutely. I mean, I barely watched the episode because the entire time I was just watching the bottom left-hand corner for Barb the entire time. I know. Especially when she was coughing, I like wasn't paying attention. I know. Like, what's Barb thinking?
Yeah.
But you could tell Hannah Ann and Peter were talking over those past few weeks, or probably had interactions, and they probably did try to make their engagement work. But at the end of the day, Peter wasn't over the last relationship, and so they had to have that, I don't want to say staged moment, but closure for audiences.
Yeah.
And so Hannah Ann probably had time to think about her reaction.
Yeah, and her saying that Peter needs to be a man and Barb clapping. I was like,
gosh.
my God. Yeah.
No, I mean, okay, but also it was interesting that Hannah Ann mentioned that he said that he had to get over Hannah B.
Oh yeah.
And Maddie. Like she said that,
She said,
right?
I should have known. It was a red flag from the start. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like, it was so early on. Like, that was, the first 3 episodes of it? Like, there wasn't a lot of closure there. Hannah B had a really bad season, I would say. Like, she didn't luck out with that.
There's no doubt about it, though. They sat down for that live interview with Chris Harrison. It was fiery. Hannah Ann gave it to him.
Oh,
like
I loved it. Yeah,
she was
served
ready, and even said like, you need to figure out how to be a real man, and that's when you can move on. They obviously have some real healing to do.
Barb was salivating over
Well, Barb was
all of it.
salivating over that moment, but like she's like ready to go home with Hannah Ann instead of Peter. But
she really was,
She
by the
wasn't
way.
over
Like,
it.
she was so into Hannah Ann that I was like, you know, this girl's like 23 and like dating your son, and it's so involved.
But how are they going to heal, or do they need to heal? I'm talking about Hannah Ann and Peter. Or is there any future here, or is that it?
I mean, I'll put it this way. I feel like Hannah Ann's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like, she's 23, she's gorgeous, she stuck up for herself. Like, she was really like a fan favorite, I think, through a lot of this. Like, she'll be okay.
I think we'll maybe see her on Bachelor in Paradise.
Totally. Oh,
yes.
she'll be the queen of the whole beach.
Yeah, I think it was Nick Vile or someone
her.
that tweeted, said like she's gonna have a fun time on the beach. Let's just get ready.
So then Chris Harrison goes and actually visits Madison in Alabama, and he didn't tell Peter that he was going. I mean, were you shocked to see Chris Harrison kind of show up? I mean, she admits that she still loves Peter. Why did Chris think this was so important for him to do?
I think
Chris believes in love. I mean, I actually think that he wants the contestants to succeed.
He does.
I think he wants them to find.
Well, when you know, there's couples that have a happy ending, it's still in the press. Like The Bachelor does well, they're considered successful, and so you don't want to have like a wasted season where Peter doesn't end up with anybody.
He was trying to save it.
Also, it was clear that Peter had such feelings for Madison that I think either one of them would have regretted not coming back together.
Yeah.
I think Chris wanted to be that glue.
So then we see Madison obviously comes to LA, walks out, there they are, they have this big moment. It was weird because Peter didn't fully say what they are now. He said like, yeah, like we want to move forward. What do you think their relationship can look like moving forward off of the show, off camera?
I mean, as someone, and Darren's in a relationship as well, if your in-laws don't give you their blessing or don't like you, it's very difficult to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think the religion is actually more important than even the family's approval because I mean, the thing that I didn't really like about that is that Barb and the dad, I don't even know the dad's name because I'm so focused on Barb.
Peter Sr.
Is that I'm just like obsessed with her. They met at the vow renewal, like episode 1. So like they had a great first impression of her. So I'm not really sure where the negative energy was coming from. I think the fact that they were disappointed he didn't pick Hannah Ann.
Yeah, well, Peter's mom, I mean, she spoke up about why she feels off about Madison, and she did not hold back. So let's take a look at this clip.
When I proceeded to ask her if she was madly in love with my son, she said no, and that she would not accept a proposal in 4 days. So how do you expect a mother who loves her son with all of her heart to take that? Therefore, when I said that I wanted Hannah Ann so badly was because I knew that she's just to us. We just clicked right away. We did not have, unfortunately, we did not have that connection with Madison.
You know, I started out in the Barb hive, and then by the end of it, I was like, ooh, it's getting a little weird.
Yeah.
She also added that Peter has to fail to succeed.
Which was horrible.
She doesn't see them working out. I mean, what were your thoughts? Are these feelings justified?
I think she is being a protective mother, but she's also not putting her son first because she's putting herself first.
Yeah.
She's saying that Hannah Ann is the better fit, so you need to do what I want for you. And the fact that she's just not saying like whatever Peter wants is what I want is probably a bad move.
It's a problem. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I don't want to like project onto what a parent should feel, but at the same time, yes, it's important that your child's significant other loves you and respects you, but it also really matters what your child thinks of the significant other. Like, his feelings matter. His feelings have to be the #1 priority to his own mother.
Yeah.
Totally.
Not anybody else.
Real quick, final thoughts. What do we think of how the season wrapped up and everything?
Disappointing. I feel like it was really disappointing. We wanted a happy ending, and because Peter was kind of indecisive and he should have not had sex with anybody in the fantasy suites to give them a real chance.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I actually liked the ending in terms of I think it shows a lot of real life getting in the way, and it's not just a matter of, you know, like you're attractive, we fall in love. Like, religion matters and family opinions matter, and this is kind of the first finale we've seen with that happening.
Yeah.
So I do, as a fan, but also as a person that lives in the real world, appreciate the honesty that was shared.
Yeah, I like that too.
I'm excited for the next season. I'm a Claire stan.
Yeah,
so.
let's do it.
For sure. No, she's gonna find real love.
All right, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Darren and Kayla, for breaking things down and for sharing your thoughts.
All right, we're taking a look at our question of the day. We've been asking you what you think was the most shocking part of that finale. Let's take a look.
Looks like
Barbara versus Madison, of course. I'm going to say this. I was really proud of Madison for standing up for herself. She never backed down. I thought she was graceful. But I actually think Barb's right that it's not going to work out.
Yeah, but if I was
she didn't handle it well.
Can we just do this off camera?
No, she shouldn't have said it.
It's embarrassing.
She did not handle it well, but let's be real, probably not going to.
Wow, big Barb fan over here. All right, we'll make a new question of the day tomorrow on People Now, so tune in for that.
Not a huge Barb fan.
You are Barb.
I'm not Barb.
You are Barb.
Coming up tomorrow, Nick Offerman is talking about his new Hulu series. It's a sci-fi tech thriller called Devs.
So good. Plus, American businessman and Shark Tank investor Damon John has the details on his new book called Power Shift. Thank you for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from this actress. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hey, it's Paulina Chavez, and this is One Last Thing. The last song stuck in my head. I want to break free by Queen.
I want to break free.
Last show I binge watched is The Good Place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool. The last time I was starstruck, I think it was Eugenio Derbez when I met him. It was pretty cool. The last thing I Googled was places to eat in New York City because I love food.